is a presentation of Fox Sports.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers limp home, having lost 7 out of 9, but by getting home, it brings back a pleasant memory. The last time the Dodgers played here, you might remember, Ramirez came off the bench and Manny hit a pinch hit 2-run home run, and the Dodgers beat the Giants 2-1. So with a happy thought in mind, they'll take the field tonight, hoping to heal and get well. They're 5 games back in the standings, as are the Pirates. The pitchers, a battle of left-handers. Brian Burris will be on the mound for Pittsburgh, and for the Dodgers, it'll be Clayton Kershaw. Dodgers have had a lot of success against the Pirates here. They've won 19 of the last 24 since 2003. We'll get to the ball game. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this.
Pirates starting tonight here on Prime Ticket. Clayton Kershaw gets the nod with Steve Lyons. I'm Patrick O'Neill. Let's get right to our Lexus Pursuing Perfection moment. Clayton, 4 starts this year, 3 no decisions and 1 win. Looked good in his last outing.
Well, he's kind of typical for those no decisions. He's been a 500 pitcher over his entire major league career. I expect that to get better. Clayton Kershaw is one of those guys, believe it or not, who's actually better when the ball is over the plate. A lot of guys try to pitch away from contact. Some sinker ball guys don't mind if you hit the ball, but he's actually actually better off if he pumps fastballs in there and throws his breaking ball for strikes, gets guys to swing the bat, and then he's better off.
You were on the road with the team. The offense did not look good the last 6 games. You have confidence they could bounce back?
I think, it's a matter of time. Things are cyclical like that. I mean, when the offense was going really good, that was contagious, and then when it started to go bad, that was contagious. I expect against this Pittsburgh pitching staff, it should turn around in a hurry.
All right, well, we're looking forward to that, getting you set for the first pitch, but the actual first pitch was by Michael Cooper, and it's a good thing that Michael Cooper played such good defense. That's the SC Women's Hoops coach right there. We're coming back. Vince Scully has the call, and we'll see y'all for postgame.
You buy your Southern California Hyundai dealers. Want more MPG? Hyundai has it with 7 models that get 30 miles per gallon or more. By Shakey's. What was the first band to play at a Shakey's? Go to Shakey's.com/trivia. By AT&T TV. High-speed internet, home phone, and wireless. Visit att.com or call 1-800-PIC-ATT for details. By Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. And by Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Thursday evening to you, wherever you may be. The Dodgers home here at Dodger Stadium, hosting the Pittsburgh Pirates on somewhat of a rare night. Not so much as rare as a day in June, but certainly it is a night where the wind could definitely be a factor. The breeze has the flags at right angles to the poles. It is a strong wind blowing out of the northwest from left to right, and would introduce and interfere in some areas, aid others as far as fly balls hitting to right and or to left. So in all the years the ballpark has been open, it's really hard to remember a night or day where the wind was a big factor. I remember years ago in a Dodger-Yankee World Series game, Joe Pepitone of the Yankees looked like he hit a home run to right field, and Ron Fairley, who was playing right field, broke back, and the wind got it, and Fairley actually caught it trotting in towards the infield. Well, tonight, any ball hitting the air to right field figures to fly out of here. Take a look now at the Pittsburgh Pirates and their lineup. Lasting Millage in left field, Andy LaRoche at third, Andrew McCutchen in center field, and Garrett Jones in right. Brian Dumit behind the plate. Jeff Clement at first base. Bobby Crosby at second. Brian Burris, the pitcher, bats 8th. And Ronnie Cedeno, the shortstop, bats 9th. Little change, kind of a Tony La Russa switch. On the mound and bare-armed as the wind turns his shirt somewhat into a blouse. And it is Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw with a record of 1-0. Last time out in Washington went 6 innings and allowed 2 runs and did not factor in the decision. A start, his first ever against the Pirates at Dodger Stadium. He does not have a decision against him, though we will see how he goes on a windy night in Los Angeles. That's one for the books. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, a win here would be one for the books. The Pirates have lost 19 of 24, and they're hoping that John Russell can turn things around as the young manager. He was once a promising catcher selected by the Phillies, didn't hit very much, but he was the Texas catcher the night that Nolan Ryan threw his 6th of 7 no-hitters. That was June of 1990. So welcome back, John, on a hand-blowing night. So Kershaw ready to pitch to Lastings Millage, who shows bunt, then takes a pitch high. 1 ball and no strikes. For Limage, who can give you some speed, he has done very well, not with a .228 batting average, but with runners in scoring position. And the next pitch very high, ball 2. Millage hitting .350 with runners in scoring position, was in a slump. 1 for 17, broke out of the bat, runs well, and takes high, ball 3, 3-0 the count. So Clayton Kershaw trying to snap a Dodger 4-game losing streak, and he could use a little help. Losing 4, the Dodgers have hit only 1 home run. A breaking ball 3-0 is in for a strike, and the count 3-1. So the Pirates, who had a 7-game losing streak, come in here with a 2-game winning streak, and the next pitch is strike, and the count goes to 3-2. So Millage checking in. For the Pirates, they are 15th in the National League in runs per game, and the 3-2 fastball is very high, so Millage opens up with a walk. So with Lasting Millage at first, we'll check the Dodgers defensively, and they shape up this way. The outfielder, Garrett Anderson, Matt Kemp, and Andre Ethier. The infielder, Casey Blake, Jamie Carroll, Blake DeWitt, and James Loney. You have Russell Martin behind the plate, Clayton Kershaw on the mound, and the temperature is 66 degrees. Andy LaRoche, right-hand hitter, checks in at the plate and takes one almost at the ribs for ball 1. He's pretty much the best hitter on the team by average, hitting ahead in the count as well as behind the count, and with men in scoring position. His brother Adam hit a long home run today at Wrigley Field, Chicago. Andy in his last 5 games, 13 for 23. Wednesday, he had a 2-run home run in the first inning. He's been hot of late. So Andy LaRoche waiting on the plate. Overall batting average .380, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and Millage over there at first. Kershaw out of his stretch and looks at him. Now the left-hander comes to the plate. Fastball is inside. Millage is 1 for 2 in stolen bases. Andrew McCutchen is the fellow who gets the job done. McCutchen, who is hitting 3rd in the lineup and is on deck, is 10 out of 12, and he is a brilliant young player. Now the 2-0 pitch, fastball in for a strike, and the count 2-1. For the Bucks, they have been struggling offensively, and with men in scoring position, they strike out a good 11% more than the league average, so they're having trouble moving runners around. The 2-1 pitch on the way, Millage not going, and it's fouled away by LaRoche, and the count 2-2. Manny Ramirez, they also serve, who only sit and wait, or stand and wait, or wait, period. And Manny takes batting practice every day, works out, takes treatment. We understand that Rafael Furcal had a shot to help heal his leg, and they would hope that Rafael will be back sooner than Manny Ramirez. 2-2 pitch is a throw to first, and Millage back on the bag. Pirates have stolen 19 out of 22, so when they run, they've been very successful. Kershaw out of a stretch, 2-2 the count to LaRoche. Clayton ready, here he comes, swung on, popped in the air. That makes it a tough play, and it will go out of play back in the stand. Any ball hit in the air with the wind doing what it's doing will be very, very questionable. So LaRoche back up and waiting. Interesting, it is an ever-changing personnel wearing Pirate uniforms. On the entire 40-man Pirate roster, they only have 2 players who are signed beyond this year, Ryan Dumet and Paul Mahalam, and they're only signed through next year. 2-2 pitch is fouled off. The LaRoche is still there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Interesting inside moment, a scout's note on the Pittsburgh Pirates. They've had a lot of 3-0 counts, something like 32 3-0 counts this year, and never has a Pirate hitter swung 3-0, despite the fact they do have 21 home runs. Here's the 2-2 pitch coming up to LaRoche, and the right-hand hitter takes low and inside, ball 3. For Clayton Kershaw, control is always a struggle, and it figures to be a struggle tonight. Oh, sure, he has a lot of strikeouts. He has 26, but he has 18 walks. Too many. So Clayton 3-2 with Millage at first, I think, ready to go. Kershaw looks at him. Millage does not go, and it's fouled at the plate. So still 3-2. That's another thing about the Pittsburgh Pirates. They are basically a one-stop ball club. They do not go first to third very often on base hits, and they normally go 90 feet at a time. John Russell knows his club is 15th in trying to advance a runner. There goes Millage, and the pitch is low. Millage a head first slide into second. So back-to-back walks, a very shaky start for Clayton Kershaw, and immediately Rick Honeycutt going out to talk to him. There are 2 problems. Even though Clayton is pretty good size, the wind can actually affect your balance, and it is very, very difficult to hold on to the ball because the horsehide becomes very slippery. Needless to say, in this wind, they are letting the pitchers go to their mouth while on the mound. The crowd huddled pretty well to try and combat. They were expecting about 35,000 tonight, so they might have that in the ballpark by the time we get into the game. But boy, that wind is a constant, blowing from left to right. The people in the right field pavilion have to be very cold before this night is over. All right, first and second, and a really tough hitter, Andrew McCutchen at the plate, batting .303. 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, and in his young career hitting .364 against the Dodgers. He bunts foul just as 2 pieces of paper blow across the infield. That could easily have proven to be quite a distraction, and the count 0-1. So John Russell, playing early for the run, has his number 3 hitter bunt in the first inning, which is a surprise. McCutchen is first in the National League in stolen bases with 10. He has stolen third base twice this year. He also has 5 infield hits, so he puts a lot of pressure on the infield. He's not bunting. He pulls away from a pitch at the knees, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The one thing about McCutchen, however, a young player just learning his way, he's 9th in the league in taking a called third strike, so he has been fooled a bit at the plate. So McCutchen with 2 on, nobody out, first inning, a windy night at Dodger Stadium, somewhat historic. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Kershaw instead just turns and looks back at Millage. Pirates are pretty good despite the fact that they're 9-12, trailing the Cardinals by 5. Their record in one-run games, 5-1. So they can be tough. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way, and it's a fastball grounded foul outside of third, and a 1-ball 2-strike count. As far as the Pirate pitching is concerned, they had 4 nightmare games. Definition of nightmare, the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers have beaten them this year 8-1, 8-0, 17-3, and 20-0. So if you threw those 4 games out, their pitching staff would not be ranked as low as it is. All right, 1-2 the count on McCutchen. Check swing, and it's going to be, that's right, a 3rd strike on McCutchen. He is very vulnerable, even though he is hitting over 300. So McCutchen strikes out. That 2-strike pitch has gotten him so far all year. And the batter now is Garrett Jones. Now Jones has a very good eye at the plate. He's about 5th in the league in walks. And you may remember he was called up last year, July 1st, and he hit 7 home runs in his first 12 games. I mean, he was really breaking in, and the pitch is low, ball 1, 1-0. The month of July last year, Garrett hit 10 home runs, the most of any major league player. The last Pirates to lead the majors in home runs in a month, Willie Stargell in 1971. So Garrett broke in with a bang. He has 4 home runs, and he's up there with 2 on and 1 out. No score, first inning. Jones, however, a left-hand batter, hitting only .211. He had the game-winning RBI in the 14th inning in a game in Milwaukee. Pickoff play and the throwback not in time. It was close. Carroll getting to the bag, and Millage just beating the throw. So Garrett Jones, not only 14 RBIs, but he has 17 walks. So he's going to make Kershaw throw a strike. 1 ball and no strikes. Clayton out of a stretch. Here he comes, and it's on the hands. A check swing foul, and the ball winds up in the stands behind the Dodger dugout. So 1 ball and 1 strike the count to Garrett Jones. Garrett backs out, heaves a big sigh. Waiting on deck, Ryan Dummett, the catcher. Kershaw, left foot on the rubber, now out of a stretch. A look back at Millage. Now the pitch of the plate. Garrett swings, doesn't get it, and a 1-2 count. The Pirates as a team have already struck out 159 times. So Kershaw would like to use a K to get out of this jam. 1-2 the count to Garrett Jones. Out of a stretch goes Clayton. A look at the runners. Back he comes, and there's a little pop fly down the left field line. It will drop foul. Untouched. A trio of Dodgers in pursuit, but there was no play. You know, it's an amazing thing about the Pirates. Last year, of their 8 opening day starters, only one, Andy LaRoche, would appear in 100 games. Adam LaRoche, Freddie Sanchez, Nate McLeod, Jack Wilson, they were all traded away. Nyla Morgan went to Washington. So a big change in Pirate personnel. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Kershaw making a lot of pitches, trying to get out of the inning. And the 1-2 fastball is swung on and missed. And down goes Garrett Jones. So 2 walks and 2 strikeouts, a microcosm of what's going on with young Kershaw and the batter Ryan Dummett. Ryan Dummett, the catcher. Ryan, right-hand batter, banged up a bit last year. He's homered now in back-to-back games. He had a pinch hit home run Wednesday in the 9th inning. He has an 8-game hitting streak, batting .288. And the pitch to him is high, very high, ball 1. You know, it's kind of interesting when you think about it. The Dodgers opened up the season in Pittsburgh. What's so interesting about that? You know, the Pirates opened on the road for 60 consecutive years. 60. The reason being Pittsburgh was always considered a cold city. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Swung on, line drive to dead center. Matt Kemp tries to backhand it. It goes under his glove, rolls to the wall. 2 runs will score, and Ryan Dumit is going into third, standing up. A sinking line drive. Matt turned his glove to backhand it and came up empty, and the ball went all the way to the wall. So the Dodgers, who have had trouble defensively the early part of the year, now come up with a big play and a big miss, and we'll wait for the scoring. But again, Kemp tried to backhand the hopper and couldn't do it. So just like that, the Pirates lead 2-0. It'll be a base hit. It's just a question of how they rule the error. Kershaw ready and delivers, and the left-hand hitter, Jeff Clement, takes a strike. 0-1 the count. Jeff Clement almost hit for the cycle Tuesday night. He had a single, double, and home run. Just missed the triple. So down the line goes Dumit, and the pitch is swung on and missed. 0-2 the count. Yeah, talking about the Pirates opening on the road 60 straight, and then after 1894 to 1953, 20 of 33 they opened on the road. So it was something that the Dodgers opened up in Pittsburgh. The next pitch way off the plate, 1-2 the count. 30 pitches now made by Clayton Kershaw on that hopper that went under the backhanded effort of Matt Kemp. It will go as a triple. Here's the 1-2 pitch, high, ball 2, 2-2. So Kershaw expending a lot of energy and a lot of pitches here in the first inning. So Ryan Dumit triples under the glove of Matt Kemp, picks up 2 RBIs, and the Bucks are on the board, leading 2-0. 2-2 pitch is off the plate, ball 3, 3-2. Pirates over the years have fallen on lean times, but you know, in their history, they're the only team to have 8 players appear in one All-Star game. Here's the 3-2 pitch coming up. Kershaw deals, and a ground ball to short. Jamie Carroll is up with it and throws him out. For the Bucks, 2 walks and a triple to get 2, and at the end of half an inning, Pirates 2, Dodgers coming up. Pirates score 2, and we go to the bottom of the first inning. Bucks leading 2-0. Here's the Dodger lineup. Russell Martin behind the plate. Garrett Anderson in left field. Matt Kemp in center. Andre Ethier hits cleanup in right. Casey Blake at third. James Loney at first. Jamie Carroll the shortstop. Blake DeWitt at second, and Clayton Kershaw on the mound. On the mound is a kid they call the Blade, Brian Burris. He is 6'1", maybe 180 pounds, and as Brian says, he's had the nickname a long time. His father weighed 140 pounds until he was 29 years old. The first pitch to Russell Martin inside. So he's long and lean out of Oregon City, Oregon, who, up until tonight, I hope, and it will not happen, he's been plagued by nosebleeds. Ground ball, bad hop, hits third base, and then the throw by LaRoche in time. Boy, that ball really took a bite out of Andy LaRoche, but he got his man. So Martin, a hard ground ball that just suddenly jumped up and struck LaRoche in the middle of the chest, and he stays with it to get his man. One away, and the batter now will be Garrett Anderson. So Andy LaRoche, a good hustle play to get his man. One out in the first inning. Yeah, talking about Brian Burris, who spells that last name B-U-R-R-E-S, out of Mount Hood Community College. Originally a Giant draft pick, and he gets a strike to Garrett Anderson. Garrett hitting just 135. 1 home run, 4 runs batted in. Back comes the Blade with a fastball low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Dodgers against left-handers are 2-4. Last couple of years, they've done very well against left-handers, but they're off to a slow start. 1-1 fastball is off the plate. Might even have been a little cutter. There was a little movement to it. 2-1 the count. Brian Burris would be pitching and out of nowhere get a nosebleed. And not a thing they could do but take him out. Anderson fouls the next pitch away. 2-2 the count. Although he was a Giants pick, he came up 4 years ago with the Orioles, and he's been up and down with Baltimore the last 3 years. Ryan turns. 2-2 pitch on the way. Waved at and missed. Breaking ball down and away. Doman has to take it out of the dirt, throw to first. So Garrett Anderson is badly fooled and strikes out. Let's take a look at the Bucs defensively. They shape up this way with Millage, McCutcheon, and Jones in the outfield. The infield, LaRoche and Cedeno, Crosby and Clement. And it'll be Brian Burris and Brian Doman for the Buck battery. 2 down first inning, and Matt Kemp coming up. Kemp fooled on that one hopper to center field that went by his glove and went for a triple. Leading the club 7 home runs, 20 RBIs. He has scored 20 as well, and hitting .292. He takes a strike, and the count 0-1. The book on Burris and the Dodger hitters have certainly read it. The strike 1 pitch badly fooled on a breaking ball in the dirt, and the count 0-2 is Kemp. There's a 2-seam fastball. He also has a cutter. He has a good changeup, and he's working on his slider. So Brian Burris, out of Oregon, leading 2-0 in the first inning. And the strike 2 pitch to Matt Kemp, off speed, kind of a change off the breaking ball, and a 1-2 count. In 2008, Burris had LASIK eye surgery. He had trouble reading the catcher's signs. You can imagine that would wreak havoc. So Burris working 1-2 to Matt Kemp. Ryan ready, and the pitch on the hands is swung on and hit back to the box. It looked like a defensive swing. It looked almost like Matt Kemp was trying not to get hit by the pitch, and instead hits back to the box. So the Dodgers go 1-2-3 on an awkward swing by Matt Kemp, and at the end of an inning, 2-0 Pittsburgh. inning, it'll be Bobby Crosby, Brian Burris, and then Ronnie Cedeno. And Crosby takes a strike, and the count 0-1. You know, we talk about the count naturally all the time, and then we see what develops. And they've really done a study on what major league hitters do on the count. For instance, Crosby is now in a hole, no balls, 2 strikes. You know what the average major league hitting average is in this count? 174. He pulls it foul down the line, out of play. Probably the most favorite count for major league hitters would be 2 balls and no strikes. They average out to 293. But boy, 0-2, 174. Here's the strike 2 pitch to Bobby, and that's taken low, ball 1. So 1-2 the count to Bobby Crosby, with the Pirates leading 2-0 in the second inning. Going back to last year, Kershaw has received 0 runs of support in 5 of the last 7 home games that he has started. The next pitch fouled away. So actually, Kershaw going into this game, his earned run average per 9 innings at Dodger Stadium was 1.6. Tim Hudson of Atlanta at home 1.4. The 1-2 pitch on the way, swung on, lined in the left field, but coming up for it is Garrett Anderson to make the catch. So Crosby, an 0-2 pitch, line drive out. And the batter now will be the pitcher, Brian Burris. You know, tomorrow is UCLA night. The first 20,000 fans receive a Bruin blue and gold LA hat, compliments of State Farm. Fans can sit in my town to enjoy an all-inclusive menu and receive a Dodgertown UCLA shirt. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. Kershaw ready in the pitch to Burris, and the pitcher takes high, ball 1. Ronnie Cedeno standing on deck. Cedeno hitting 222. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way. Burris has a look for a strike, and the count 1-1. Clayton Kershaw not wasting any time on a cold, windy night at Dodger Stadium. 1-1 pitch on the way, taken inside, ball 2, 2-1. Maybe we've said cold before as far as Dodger Stadium, but I don't think we have ever talked about the wind, and it is a constant tonight. 2-1 the count. Kershaw ready and deals, and the pitch in at the knees for a strike, and the count 2-2. So for Burris, first of all being in the American League, and now a left-hand batter facing a left-hand pitcher. And the 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed, and down he goes. 3 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw, but the Pirates lead 2-0. And Ronnie Cedeno coming up. Cedeno hitting 9th. The shades of Tony La Russa. Cedeno 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in. Had a game-tying leadoff home run in Milwaukee against Trevor Hoffman. So that's been a highlight of his young year. Cedeno takes a strike, 0-1. Kershaw ready, comes right back with a big overhand curveball for a strike, and the count 0-2. That's that 12-6 dandy that Clayton has. Cedeno from Carabobo in Venezuela hits a ground foul. He was originally signed by the Cubs and played with the Cubs in 05, 6, 7, and 8. Talk about a windy city. He knows all about that. Here's the strike 2 pitch coming up, and Cedeno fouls this one off to the right, out of play. Still 0-2. The Pirates last year sent Jack Wilson, Ian Snell to the Mariners, and they got Cedeno, Jeff Clement, and a couple of minor league pitchers as well. Now the strike 2 pitch is swung on and missed, and down goes Cedeno. That's 4 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw, but the end of an inning and a half, 2-0 Pittsburgh. followed by Casey Blake and then James Loney. Dodgers are delighted to be home after losing 7 of 9 on the road trip. Ethier takes off the plate, ball 1. The schedule now tells the Dodgers that 30 of the next 42 games will be played here at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers are 4-2 at home, 4-11 on the road. Ethier, a big chopper to the right side to Bobby Crosby, and just like that, one away. Ethier on the recent road trip was hitting .273, but down he goes, and the batter is Casey Blake. Casey Blake hit .281 on the trip, including he had a couple of doubles, he had a triple, he had 2 home runs, and he had 9 runs batted in. So Blake checks in hitting .304, and he takes low, ball 1. Casey, Saturday, hit 2 home runs. That's his first multi-homer game as a Dodger, and the first since June of a couple of years ago. Blake takes off the plate. 2 balls and no strikes. Casey's also been very valuable, hitting .320 with runners in scoring position. The 2-0 pitch on the way, and he takes outside again. So Burris, keeping the ball away, goes 3-0, and on deck, James Loney. Interesting, in the Dodger 4-game losing streak, they have hit just 1 home run. Now the 3-0 pitch on the way, and Blake looks at a strike. 3-1. Pirates got 2 in the first inning, 2 walks, and a 2-out triple by Ryan Doumit. Now the 3-1 pitch on the way. Fastball fouled off. Fastball just about 90. He doesn't throw much higher than that. 3-2 the count. Brian Burris, the boy from Oregon. Left-hander, both feet on the rubber, looks down to get a sign. Now the 3-2 pitch, fastball hit up in the air to center. The wind's going to play with it, and underneath it is McCutchen to make the catch. So the wind blowing so hard from left to right, and Lasting Millage comes over to talk about the wind. But McCutchen had a bead on that thing all the way. We thought it might have been a tougher kind of a catch, but he had that thing all the way. Of course, he's playing super, and he is taking the place of Nate McLeod, who was an all-star who moved on, and he has certainly held up his part of the bargain. He's a star to beat, Andrew McCutchen. So 2 down, and the batter is James Loney, and he takes off the plate, ball 1, 1-0. Both Loney and Andre Ethier struck out 3 times yesterday against John Maine. The 1-0 pitch on the way, Loney backs off and takes a strike. But then when you look it up, you say, wow, Loney and Ethier each striking out 3 against right-handed John Maine. Then you find out Maine has been getting left-handers out easily and having a lot of troubles with right-hand hitters. And Maine, as you probably know, is a right-handed pitcher. John Maine has always been remembered in these parts because he was the pitcher when Hung Chi Kuo hit a home run. Pitch is swung on, fouled away. 2-2 the count with James Loney, and the wind is at it again. Those flags look like they're starched. They've been at right angles to the poles, oh gosh, since 5 o'clock. Gusting up to 38 miles an hour, they tell me. Comebacker over the mound behind the bag at shortstop is Cedeno to make the play. So Ronnie Cedeno takes a base hit away from Loney. Dodgers go in order, 6 in a row retired, and it's still 2-0 Pittsburgh. Pirates lead the Dodgers 2-0 as we go to the third inning. Looking into the Pirate dugout a little while ago, we were watching Garrett Jones, the Pirate right fielder, come into the dugout, and the first thing he did was take eye drops and put them in his eyes. And of course that can be a problem, especially for the right fielder tonight for either team, as Lasting Millage takes high ball one. You know, that wind is blowing straight into the right fielder's side of his face. Ethier does not appear to be bothered by it, but apparently it was bothering Garrett Jones. The next pitch to Millage in to even up the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. Millage walked in the first inning and came around to score, hitting .228. The pitch to the left fielder is swung on and fouled back, and the count 1-2. So Lasting's Millage checking in the plate, trying to get something started with the Bucks leading. Now the 1-2 pitch on the way, a little ground ball to the right side. DeWitt easily on it to get him. And you have one away.
Cutting next, third baseman Andy LaRoche.
Andy LaRoche coming up, and LaRoche walked in his first at bat and came around to score. Kershaw made 32 pitches in the first inning. Walked 2, struck out 2. Made only 16 pitches his second inning. And the first one a strike. LaRoche drew a walk in the first inning, hitting .380. Takes a big slow curveball in for a strike, and the count 0-2. Kershaw, perhaps bothered by the wind in the first inning, certainly appears much more in control now. And the strike 2 pitch, curveball, they're going to check, no swing, says C.B. Buckner at first, and a 1-2 count. Kerwin Danley is the plate umpire tonight. It's good to see Kerwin. He was born in Los Angeles, lives over in Arizona, and we're glad to see he's healthy and able to call balls and strikes. You may remember a rather dramatic moment here at Dodger Stadium when Kerwin was behind the plate. Little foul ball. There was a foul ball, and it came right over and struck Kerwin just below the throat, and he just went backwards on his back. And what made it even more dramatic was the fact that in a box seat right near the Dodger dugout was his mother. Now the 1-2 pitch at low, ball 2. So Kerwin, who went to school at San Diego State, he was a first-team All-American and was a teammate of Tony Gwynn. And it's nice to see him working and well. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. LaRoche waiting, and Kershaw comes back. Fastball is swung on and missed, and that'll do it for LaRoche. 5 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw, and the batter will be Andrew McCutchen. There are 2 McCutchens on the Pirate staff. One is Daniel McCutchen, who is a pitcher, and the other is Andrew. Now last year the Bucks had Niger Morgan as well as McCutchen as leadoff men. McCutchen takes a strike. They did a great job combined. Scored over 100, walked, had a lot of stolen bases, but McCutchen has now improved to where he's the number 3 hitter. It's a big bouncer to Jamie Carroll, who nails him. And for Clayton Kershaw, he's now retired 7 in a row after that first inning triple. And at the end of 2.5 innings, Pirates 2, Dodgers 0. night, we're looking at a Little Miss Sunshine behind home plate. What a delight to see her here, about 3 years old. And the first pitch to Jamie Carroll, in for a strike, and the count 0-1. So it's Carroll followed by DeWitt and then Clayton Kershaw. Brian Burris turns on the rubber, and the strike one pitch, a little off speed, a little cutter, not much speed to it. 1-1 to count. Don't want to get in the way of play-by-play, but we certainly want to send along our warmest wishes to one of our favorite people. There's a strike to Carroll, 1-2. And that would be the fine Boston Red Sox scout, Jerry Stevenson, who's on the DL right now and just came home from the hospital. And we just want Jerry to know he is very much on our mind and hearts and prayers as Carroll fouls another pitch away, and the count 1-2. So, Jerry, don't be impatient and do what Yvonne tells you to do. Jamie hitting .233. So Carroll with a couple of big shoes to fill with Rafael Furcal's sideline for at least today and maybe tomorrow. 1-2 pitch on the way. Carroll tied up on a breaking ball at his feet, and a 2-ball 2-strike count. Brian Burris leading 2-0 in the third inning. Pirates had 2 walks and a 1-hopper that got away under the glove of Matt Kemp for a triple, and both runs scored. 2-2 pitch on the way is a fastball low, ball 3. 3-2 the count to Jamie Carroll. Three-2 pitch coming up. Fastball hit in the air. The wind's going to bring that over to Andrew McCutchen, who goes sideways back to make the catch for the out. So 1 away. You know, the beach is back. Bleacher Beach at Dodger Stadium. It's open tomorrow through Sunday, and beach bums enjoy unlimited food, a private beach party, compliments of Bud Light, and by the way, starting tomorrow, fans will receive a Bleacher Beach water bottle. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/beach or give us a call, 866-DODGERS. Breaking ball in for a strike to DeWitt. 7 in a row retired by Brian Burris. Blake hitting .240, 5 runs batted in. And the next pitch sinks a little low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Slider with just a bite to it. DeWitt had a 7-game hitting streak snapped on Saturday. Blake, left-hand hitter, in the 1-1 pitch at low, ball 2, 2-1. Well, the boy from Oregon has retired 7 in a row, leading 2-0. And the left-hander's 2-1 pitch is swung on, fouled off to the left out of play, and the count 2-2. Brian Burris has had some tough times. He has lost 8 straight. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Half swing and a foul ball. 3-2 the count. Yeah, Burris has lost 8 straight, 7 as a starting pitcher, and 1 more in relief. That's a pretty tough load to carry. But here he is, retiring the first 7 batters. Ryan ready, and the 3-2 fastball, line drive into right field, base hit, and the ball gets by Garrett Jones to the wall. DeWitt is to second. He is on his way to third, and he will be in there. So a line drive base hit misplayed by Garrett Jones. I'm not sure if those eyes are bothering him. We mentioned the fact that he was putting eye drops in, and he just had trouble with what should have been just a clean single to right field. He just moved over, reached over, and the ball went right under his glove. It'll be 1-1. So it's a single to right field and an error, allowing the runner to get to third. And of course, that's a huge play. The Bucks don't score a lot of runs, and they're leading 2-0, and they play the infield up now as Kershaw checks in. Kershaw looking for his first RBI of the year. Clayton waiting, Burris set, ready, deals, fastball low. So the left-hander, who is moving along so well, now in a bit of a trouble because of his left fielder, Garrett Jones. Interesting that the Pirates would make a big error. Last year, they were an excellent defensive team. The pitch is down and away. Ball 3. Pirates last year only made 73 errors. That was the fewest in the National League. Burris looks in, getting a sign. 3-0 to Kershaw with Martin on deck. And the 3-0 pitch is inside. Ball 4. So Burris was sailing along, pitching from a windup. John Russell pacing now in the Pirate bench. And Garrett Jones, no doubt, feeling badly about things in right field. So the Dodgers run as first and third. Ryan Domet goes out to counsel Burris. Say, all right, forget about it. Just concentrate on the hitters. The infield goes back to a double play down. Russell Martin, who had that bad hopper, fielded well by Andy LaRoche, who threw him out. So Russell 0 for 1, batting .297. He has 2 home runs. He hit his second home run last year in July. So Martin waiting at the plate. Burris ready and deals, and it's low, dropped by the catcher Domet. 1 ball and no strikes, and they'll put a new ball in play. So in good rhythm, pitching from a windup, and suddenly on the base hit with a runner at third, going out of the stretch, he walked Kershaw. Now first and third, 1 out, and here's Martin. 1 ball and no strikes. Left-hander Burris checking the runners at the corners, and the fastball on the inside corner for a strike, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. For Burris, he's had 43 starts in the major leagues. Last time he won a game was in July of '08 in Boston. The 1-1 pitch coming up. Ryan ready, fastball, another strike, inside corner. Russell Martin, by his body language, tells he didn't like the call. 1-2 the count. Charlie Morton and Chad Billingsley tomorrow night. We know Zach Duke is due to pitch on Saturday. Dodgers have not announced their starter. 1-2 the count. Left-hander ready, Burris checking. Now here he comes, and it's a little breaking ball in the dirt, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. So Russell Martin batting .297 with 2 on. Martin hit .313 on the road trip. Waiting on deck, Garrett Anderson. Burris checking. Now the left-hander looks at the runners. And the 2-2 pitch to Russell Martin. Fastball hit, and a line drive nails the runner at third, Blake DeWitt. It gets up, and the Dodgers immediately over to see if he's all right. I think the line drive got him on the leg. Boy, he really got stung. So many times you forget about the fact that runner coming down the line is maybe 80 feet away from home plate. And that thing got him just on the right hip, and down he went. Now DeWitt is back up and bending the right knee and leg, and apparently he's okay. Better it got him high up on the leg rather than the knee itself. I think I've mentioned it a couple of times. I will never forget a night in Cincinnati. Duke Snyder coming down the line from third, and big Frank Howard hit a line drive that hit Snyder in the head. And I really thought he was killed. But he had the helmet on, and yet another player was saved. So DeWitt's okay, although I bet he'll have a big bloody mark on his leg by tomorrow morning. 2-2 the count to Russell Martin. Burris ready, the left-hander deals in the dirt, gets away from Domet, down to second goes Kershaw. They got him. It took Clayton a long time to get to second, and Ryan Domet firing down to Bobby Crosby, and they got him. A fine play by the Pirate catcher, and of course for Kershaw, that might very well have taken him out of the inning. Ryan Doumit got it down there just in time to get Kershaw. 2-4 if you're scoring. Now DeWitt at third, but 2 out. 3-2 the count to Russell Martin, and Kershaw visibly upset at himself for perhaps taking his team out of the inning. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Russell Martin, and Burris delivers fastball, big bouncer to third. LaRoche is on it and throws him out. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. And at the end of 3, 2-0 Pittsburgh. As we go to the 4th inning, the Hyundai key to the game occurred in the 1st inning. A single to center by Ryan Doumit, but it got under the backhanded effort of Matt Kemp to turn it into a triple. 2 runs scored, and the Bucks are holding on to that 2-0 lead as we go to the 4th inning. For Matt Kemp, you could read his mind. 1 run was going to score anyway, but he was going to backhand that hopper and make a strong throw to the plate, and instead had a glove full of empty. So into the 4th we go. Garrett Jones, Ryan Doumit, and then Jeff Clement. Clayton Kershaw took his team out of the inning, gambling on that pitch that got away at the plate, and then had Martin ground out. 2 runs, 1 hit for the Pirates. No runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers. Garrett Jones struck out in the 1st inning. So Jones will check in to start things off. Garrett, as we told you earlier, broke in with a bang last year. 7 home runs in a very short period of time. 0-1 the count. They not only have 2 McCutcheons on the Pirates, they had 2 Jones, Garrett and Brandon. That's lifted up into that wind, makes it tricky. Blake DeWitt stays with it. Garrett Jones had a lot of trouble last year against left-handers. He hit only .208. So he has struck out and popped up tonight against a good left-hander, Clayton Kershaw. 1 away, and Ryan Doumit, the catcher, whose single was turned into a triple for 2 RBIs, and then he made a good, strong, accurate throw to get Kershaw down there at second base. 0-1. Late, fouled it off. 0-2. 5 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw. 0-2. Ball one. Boy, he let that thing fly at 94. Kershaw with his 5 strikeouts. You may remember last year his high, struck out 13. Now the 1-2 pitch, and that's hit in the air to right center. Kemp has to dig. The wind's blowing it away from him. He can make the catch, but it's backed up by Ethier. So Matt Kemp gave it his all-out effort, and he looks up at the wind or the flags because that's why he couldn't catch it. I mean, he was digging, and the harder he ran, the more the ball sliced away from him and just couldn't quite make it. So a fly ball single for Ryan Delmet as Kemp about inches shy of making the catch, and the batter will be Jeff Clemens. So the Bucks have 2 hits, and both of them Ryan Delmet. When this series is over, the Dodgers will say goodbye to the Pirates. They'll be saying have a good winter. Hard to believe. Clement grounded to short, his only at bat, hitting .203 off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and two. Jeff Clement is from Marshalltown, Iowa, and he went to school here at USC. He was a #1 pick by the Mariners 5 years ago. He played in the Little League World Series, so he's been a winner. 1 and 2. Runner goes, pitch is a strike. The throw down is high, and the runner is safe. The Delmet slides in on a high throw by Russell Martin after Clemens strikes out, and Bobby Crosby will be coming up. 6 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw. Though the stolen base, it was really a busted hit and run play, gives Delmet his first stolen base of the year, and Bobby Crosby will then get the intentional walk with the pitcher, remember, hitting 8th. So it'll be the 3rd walk given up by Kershaw. 2 down, top of the 4th, 2-0 Pittsburgh. Now ball 4. So the walk to Crosby brings up Burris with 2 out. Delmet at second, Crosby at first. It's 2-0 Pirates, top of the 4th inning. And for the moment, anyway, the breeze has slowed down. In fact, you could call it a breeze instead of the wind. It was up to 38 miles an hour a little while ago. Oh and 1. On deck, batting 9th, the shortstop Ronnie Cedeno. The Bucks have not hit well with runners in scoring position. That's popped up, and it will be the shortstop. Nope, it'll be 3rd baseman Casey Blake. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. The end of 3.5. 2-0 Pirates. by CarMax. Now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax. By Toyota. Get a great deal on Toyota's full line of hybrid and fuel-efficient vehicles at your Toyota dealer today. And by Corona. Bottom of the fourth inning, the Pirates leading the Dodgers 2-0. We were talking before about the Pirates and some of the things about the club. One of the things that is very frustrating, they make a lot of outs on the bases. In fact, they're first in the league in base running outs. And so far tonight, a big base running error was on the Dodgers' part when Kershaw tried to go to second on a pitch in the dirt and was nailed. So in the bottom of the fourth, it'll be Garrett Anderson. Little foul. 0-1. Garrett struck out in the first inning, fooled on a big breaking ball down and away. Garrett hitting 132. 0-2 the count. Anderson has struck out about a third of the time. That's in the dirt. 1-2 the count. Garrett has 1 home run, 4 runs batted in. He had 1 hit on the road trip. It was a home run. Ground ball, routine play to Bobby Crosby. Well, 1 away.
That's from center fielder, number 27.
Well, Matt Kemp will be coming up. Kemp having a base hit, get under his glove for a triple and 2-run scoring, and then thoroughly being frustrated, making that diving try of a wind-blown fly ball that fell for a single. Matt hitting .289. For Kemp, he and Jamie Carroll were the only players to play all 18 innings of the doubleheader in New York. 0-1. 1-1. Jamie and Matt punching that time clock again tonight. Dodgers had a long trip back from New York. The breeze or wind that we have here, one thing. When the Dodgers were flying back from New York last night, it was 150-mile-an-hour headwind. It was a 6-hour flight. Line drive by the diving Clement into right field. So Matt singles. That would be hit number 2 for the Dodgers. And it'll bring up Andre Ethier. There are 30 teams in the major leagues, as you know, and the Pirates starting pitchers have lost 10 games, and their earned run average is 30th, the last. Ethier hitting .329. Matt Kemp at first base has stolen 3, but he's been caught 5 times. Ethier, who struggled against left-hand pitching last year, 5 home runs, 17 runs batted in. Hit the other way, under the glove of the diving LaRoche. Over to get it is Millage. Kemp going to third easily. A throw to second, not in time. A bad play by Lastings Millage. Ronnie Cedeno had pointed to him, throw to second. And Millage through to third anyway, and that allows the Dodgers to have the tying runs in position. LaRoche couldn't get the glove on it, and now here's why Millage makes the bad play. So the Dodgers now have runners at second and third with one out instead of first and third at what they should have had. So the Dodgers now have a chance as Casey Blake comes up with the opportunity to at least get it even and embarrass Millage even further. One out. Breaking ball for a strike. Casey has been an MVP. He has hit .320 with runners in scoring position and hit .344 with men on base. So he's up there now in an ideal spot for the Dodgers. One out. Off speed breaking ball for a strike. Good pitch. 0-2. Ethier, the tying run at second. Kemp down the line from third, and Blake trying to pick him up. The infield back. 0-2. And a good breaking ball down at his ankles. His slider takes care of Blake.
Dodgers first baseman, number 7, James Loney.
That would be the third strikeout. You can see that thing not just breaking down but in. So Blake comes up empty. That's the third strikeout for Brian Burris. And now James Loney, who grounded to short in the second inning. Two out, fourth inning, 2-0 Pirates. There's that little breaking ball, a slider, but it's off the plate. Loney grounded out. He's 0 for 1. Loney was kicked out of a game against the Mets, the first ejection of his career. And a lot of people who have ever watched him or been around him were quite shocked. But it wasn't anything that he said, and that's not news. He's very soft-spoken. What happened was he had been called out on strikes, what he thought a bad pitch, and he left one batting glove up around home plate. When he got back towards the dugout, he threw the other batting glove out towards home plate, and the plate umpire felt that he was throwing equipment, trying to show him up, and the umpire chased him. But you knew it wasn't anything he said. One ball and one strike. Kemp and Ethier out there. 2 down, fourth inning, 2-0 Pirates. Ball 2. Players can say the darndest things and get kicked out. Years ago, the Milwaukee Braves had a shortstop, Johnny Logan, leading off the game before a full house, and on the first pitch of the game called a strike, he was thrown out of the game. And he had turned to the umpire and said, "You call another pitch like that, and I'll pinch your head off." He was kicked out of the game. You can imagine there's 40-some-odd thousand people in County Stadium in Milwaukee. And this is back Jackie Robinson, Warren Spahn, Lou Burdett, all the superstars. And the leadoff hitter is kicked out of the game on the first pitch. The umpire was Al Barlick. 3-1. Good breaking ball, but Loney shows great discipline and takes it. So the bases are loaded. That, by the way, is the first walk given up by Burris. Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach, going out to give him a little advice and to talk perhaps about Jamie Carroll. So Kerrigan holding fourth. Joe's a Philadelphia boy who went to Temple University. And he has delivered the message and now goes jogging back. He had a brother who was a catcher. A lot of baseball people in the Kerrigan family. His father was a third baseman in the Red Sox organization, so a lot of Kerrigans have been involved with baseball, if not in the major leagues. All right, here's Jamie Carroll, fly to center in the third inning. Big slow curveball, 0-1. In case you wonder, Jamie Carroll has one grand slam. He hit it 3 years ago against the Cubs in August. 1-0. Fastball, big chopper, LaRoche to the bag, and that's that. So the Dodgers get 2 hits, leave 3, and at the end of 4, Brian Burris pitching a dandy, and the Pirates lead 2-0. We talked about Wilva Stargell hitting a lot of home runs. He also hit the first home run completely out of Dodger Stadium, August 6, 1969. Would you possibly remember the name of the pitcher who was pitching for the Dodgers? Little foul out of play. Ronnie Cedeno up there, 0-1. Cedeno hitting .219. We're in the 5th inning, 2-0 Pittsburgh, 0-2. Despite the wind and everything else, good ball game. In the dirt, nice save. Clayton Kershaw gave up 2 in the first inning. Ronnie Cedeno did a funny thing. You know how players treasure their gloves, and if you're a shortstop, you can bet that glove is important. And usually it takes a player quite a while to get his glove in playable condition. You know what Cedeno did? He said, "Takes me 10 seconds to get my glove in shape." I said, "Really?" "Yeah." "How do you do that?" He said, "I put it in the microwave oven." So he said, he's got a hot hand, 1 away. Foul ball. Lastings Millage. And I'm sure you can figure out that first name. It was pretty much given to him by his dad. They had a large family. And his father said, that'll be enough. He'll be the last. So they called him Lastings. Out of Bradenton, Florida. And was a #1 pick by the Mets 7 years ago. Didn't cut it in New York. Went to Washington and eventually to Pittsburgh. One and two. It wasn't that the Millages had a lot of children. They had 2 older boys. Then he came along and they decided 3's a perfect number. Little foul. Here comes Martin. Backhanded catch. Wonderful play. With the modern day catcher's mitt, you can make a play like that because it folds right by the base of the thumb. So it's almost like a first baseman's mitt. You watch him come back and backhanded. In the old days, those big stuffed mattresses they caught with, you couldn't really do that. But the catcher's mitt today is an exaggerated first baseman's mitt. That's a strike. Andy LaRoche walked, struck out, made a fine play on a bad hop ground ball by Martin. And a high fly ball into left center. Kemp going back to the track, and the wall makes the catch. And you would have to believe if the wind was not blowing from left to right, that's in the stands. So at the end of 4.5, Pirates 2, Dodgers nothing. Battle of left-handers, Brian Burris, Clayton Kershaw. In fact, the last game played here at Dodger Stadium before that ill-fated road trip with Barry Zito and Clayton Kershaw. And remember, Manny Ramirez a pinch home run against Sergio Romo with a man aboard, and the Dodgers won that 2-1. 2-1 to count to Blake DeWitt. Single to right, hit by a line drive, but as a runner he was in foul ground at third, and fortunately he's okay. And a base hit into right field. Over to get it is Garrett Jones, taking his time to get there, and so it's a leg double by Blake DeWitt. So Garrett Jones already committed an error out there and just couldn't get over on that line drive base hit. And it's a double for DeWitt. Remember Kershaw and that long out LaRoche? We thought the wind got it. Watch Clayton. He thinks surely it's a home run. Oh, no. And then he sees the wind suddenly become his friend. Okay. Thank you very much. Had it all away. Clayton walked in the third inning, then tried to advance on a pitch in the dirt. Ryan Domit threw him out. They're looking bunt. They pull up the corners. Clement and LaRoche. Dodgers have had men on base now in each of the last 3 innings. Trying to take a step away from DeWitt. 2 runs, 2 hits for the Pirates. No runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers, who have left 4. Swinging, knocked down by the pitcher, who then have to wait for his first baseman to get back to the bag. Clement was charging the plate and really had to retreat. The Kershaw comeback. Look where the first baseman Clement was when the ball was hit back to the box.
Catcher number 55, Russell
He
Martin.
has to run back. Kershaw digging, but he's out. So DeWitt still at second with 1 out. Nice play by Clement. And the batter will be Russell Martin. So Kershaw back in the dugout. Martin is 0 for 2. 2 ground balls to Andy LaRoche. Martin hitting .292. Ball 1. For Burris, who does not have overpowering stuff, he has walked just 1 and struck out 3. He has DeWitt at second with 1 out. Breaking ball stayed away. Two balls, no strikes. Breaking ball is in there. 2-1 to count. Brian Burris, the Blade as they call him, tall and lean, doing a fine job up to now. Fastball, but he missed. So waiting on deck, Garrett Anderson, left-hand batter who has struck out and grounded out. And let's see what they give Martin. 3-1. Remember, we were talking about counts. The 3-1 count, a major league hitter is batting .286. And a strike. Didn't do much. Almost a straight change until the very last second. So 3-2 the count to Russell Martin. What about a 3-2 count just for the books? Major league hitters batting .233. The big guys, Jason Worth and Mark Reynolds, have 7 home runs on full counts. Fastball. The bottom dropped out of it from up here. That was a changeup. So he threw a change to strike out Martin. Big out. Remember the trivia question it had to do about Wilbur Stargell hitting the ball out over the pavilion in right field? And who was the pitcher? Well, his initials, I was going to say AF. Alan Foster. And you might say, who had the privilege of calling that first ball to be hit out of Dodger Stadium? And the answer, God bless him, Jerry Doggett. Where was I? In the men's room. Yeah, really. Never saw it. Just a rumor. Ball one to Garrett Anderson. Truth be told. Two runs, two hits, one error for the Pirates. No runs, four hits, no errors for the Dodgers. Blake DeWitt at second base. And that's popped in the air. LaRoche would appear to have a play in foul ground. So down go the Dodgers, leaving DeWitt, and at the end at 5-2 Pittsburgh. His last name with Hoot, we always called him the Owl. But not only that, he pitched better at night than he did in the daytime. And on this date at night against the Philadelphia Phillies in 1982, Bert Hooton gave a hoot. He allowed only one hit, faced 29 batters, and the Dodgers went on to breeze behind him. Bert was with the Dodgers from 1975 through 1984. And with that, let's go back to this one. And that first pitch, ball one, to Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen hitting .297, 3 home runs, 6 runs batted in. Ground ball, nice pick there by Casey Blake to get him. 1 away. So McCutchen goes 0 for 3. And remember, in his career, he's hit .364 against the Dodgers, so it's a little payback. And the batter now, Garrett Jones, struck out, popped up, had trouble on a ball hit to right field for an error. Garrett, 4 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Dodgers plagued by one of the problems they had on the road with runners in scoring position so far tonight. The Dodgers are 0 for 6. So another tough time for Joe Torre. Two and 1 the count. Jones followed by Ryan Domet. Rather unusual outcome tonight in a National League game. Roy Oswalt was pitching for Houston in Houston, and Cincinnati beat Oswalt. Oswalt's career against Cincinnati is now, with the loss, 23-2. So how many people figured he was a lock? 23-1 going in, but he lost. 1 out, 6th inning, 2-0 Pittsburgh. Fouled away. Garrett Jones spent over 7.5 years in the minor leagues. He was released a couple of times in his career. We told you he had 7 home runs in his first 12 games last year. Homered in 4 consecutive games. July 17 last year, he homered in the first inning and then hit a walk-off home run in the 14th. And slices one. Kemp is not going to get this except on a bounce, and Jones will hold on. Also, another milestone in Jones' career. In September, the 132nd game, Jones hit the 10,000th home run in Pirate history. And he hit it appropriately enough against Homer Bailey of the Reds. So here's Ryan Doumit, tripled and singled. And a strike. Ryan out of Moses Lake, Washington. He was the number 2 pick by the Pirates back in 1999. So he spent a long time in the minor leagues. 1-1. Doumit is a switch hitting catcher, and he'll be happy to tell you he's been switching since he was 4 years old. He said he didn't have any choice. His dad told me he had to be a switch hitter, and it's paid off. Good hitter, career average better than 270. He had 1 home run against left-hand pitching last year, 9 against right-handers. One ball and 1 strike. Fastball, little foul off first, no play. That's going to be in the stands. For Clayton Kershaw, he has now made 99 pitches, and of course he battled in the first inning, making 32. Otherwise he has settled down nicely. One on, 1 out. 2-0 Pirates. Top of the 6th. Good breaking ball. Down he goes. 7 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw.
First baseman number 6, Jeff Clement.
Jeff Clement coming up, grounded to short and struck out. So Jeff 0 for 2. And ball 1. Want to know to Jeff. Jeff, among other things, when he was in college, began a drawing class. And as he said, we had to draw models that were middle-aged and naked. And I thought, I don't want to do this for a living. However, he still had himself somewhat of an art career. But he laid off for a couple of years. He won an award for a still life that he drew, pastels. Jeff out of Iowa. 2-1 to count. Marshalltown, Iowa is not too far away from Chicago. So he was a Cubs fan, and then he became a Ken Griffey Jr. fan, and always wore number 24 throughout school because that was Griffey's number. By the way, an excellent student. Jeff graduated with a 4.0 grade point average. Big man on campus. He was going to go to the University of South Carolina. 3-2 the count. He had been originally selected by the Twins, but he opted to go to school, and then the Mariners took him out of the University of South Carolina. Runner goes, fouls it back. So with Garrett Jones at first and 2 down, 2-0 Pittsburgh in the 6th inning. The Dodgers will have Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, and Casey Blake in the bottom half. 3-2. Jones goes, ground ball to Carroll, and that'll be that. No runs, 1 hit, and a man left. The end of 5 1/2, 2-0 Pittsburgh. Night, we put our freeze cam on Russell Martin, and on that foul ball, Martin making a fine catch of the ball hit by Lastings Miller. Wonderful play by Russell. That set the Pirates down in order. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, and Casey Blake. For Clayton Kershaw, by the way, he has now gone over the 100 pitch mark. He's made 107. 0-1 to Matt. Way out in front on that change. Matt struck out and singled to right. 1-1. 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error for the Pirates. No runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. Two and one. Well, the Blade, as his nickname, has been carving up the Dodgers so far. By the way, we talked about Charlie Morton and Chad Billingsley tomorrow night. Remember, Burris has lost his last 8 straight in the big leagues. 3-1. Well, we said Morton and Billingsley tomorrow night, but then Duke against, and we're waiting for the Dodgers, and they've announced that Carlos Monasterios will make a start. A line drive caught by Cedeno. The ball was not hit that hard. You could hear the bat, I think, even crack. And Cedeno climbs the ladder and makes a wonderful play. Up you go. Timed it perfectly. So Kemp loses a base hit. One away. So Cedeno might be hitting about 210, batting 9th in the lineup, but he's got a handy glove. And now here's Andre Ethier, grounded out and doubled. Ball 1. Rafael Furcal received a platelet-rich plasma injection in his strained left hamstring. He's missed 3 games. Certainly not available tonight. And they're just going to wait to see how he feels in the next couple of days. Well, Rafael is here, bundled up. Manny Ramirez, we saw at the start of the game. Whether he's still there, we don't know. Manny took BP. Three and 0 the count. And ball 4. That's only the second walk allowed by Brian Burris.
Number 23,
Casey Blake flied to center in the second inning. Had a big chance, came up in the 4th with 1 out, runners at second and third, and struck out. Then Loney walked. Carroll hit into a force play, and that was that. As we mentioned, for Casey not to deliver was somewhat of a surprise. He's been the delivery man all during the year. Ball 1. Casey had been hitting .320 with runners in scoring position and .344 with runners on. And now Joe Kerrigan going out to talk to his pitcher. So timeout. Kerrigan is talking about his windup, I think, the way Joe was swinging his arms. But of course, you're not going to wind up now with a runner at first. Jack Tashner, a left-hander, formerly with the Giants, and Brian Bass, the right-hander, begin to warm up in the Pirate bullpen. And ball 1. So Burris had done very well, extricating himself from a couple of jams in the 3rd, in the 4th, and a leadoff double in the 5th. Now he's in the 6th. And behind 3 and 0. The Kerrigan is sweating it out, and Joe's on the phone now down to the Pirate bullpen. Three and 0. So he has walked them back to back. And remember, Kemp almost led off with a single, except for that leaping catch by Cedeno. He had made 80 pitches going into the inning. So Domit, Cedeno, and Burris have their meeting, and the batter will be James Loney, who has grounded to short and walked. Burris now, he got Kemp and walked 2, so this will be his 94th pitch. And wait a minute, he will have made 93 because John Russell is making way out to the mound, and that'll be that. So he's been in trouble. in each of the last 4 innings. And he goes out leading 2-0. He can't lose. He leaves with a 2-0 lead, and 2 base runs is his responsibility. They're going to bring in the left-hander Jack Cashner to pitch to Loney, and we'll be back. It is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now, Jack in the Box is offering a variety of menu items and letting people choose any 3 for only $3 plus tax. And by your Southern California Ford dealers, where you'll find the new Transit Connect. Check it out at scforddealers.com. 2-0 in favor of the Pirates. For Brian Burris, who has to come out, he had 10 3-ball counts and wound up walking 4 while striking out 3. Retired the side in order in the first 2 innings, and then just did get out of a jam in the 3rd, again in the 4th, again in the 5th, and finally, with 2 on and 1 out, they hook him, and here is Jack Cashner. So Cashner, like Burris, originally in the Giant organization. Jack out of Wisconsin, so it's a Milwaukee night here. Jack went to the University of Wisconsin in Oshkosh. Interesting, when the Angels drafted Cashner back in 1996, they drafted him as a pitcher, and he had never pitched a game in his life. He was playing center field for the university, and the Angels really liked his arm as a center fielder. Eventually turned pro with the Giants and became a pitcher. Ground ball, gobbled up, dropped by LaRoche. He only throws to first. He had a chance to get the runner at second base, but in trying to get a double play, he let that get away. So the Dodgers still have the tying runs aboard, and Jamie Carroll coming up. If LaRoche handles that cleanly, that's probably a double play. So second and third, 2 out, and Jamie Carroll flied to center and came up with the bases loaded in the 4th inning and hit into a force play. Jamie hitting .219. Carroll struggled like all of the Dodgers on the recent road trip. He hit just .167. So he has Andre Ethier at third. He has Casey Blake at second, and 2 out. Ball 1. When Tashner was in college, when he converted from an outfielder to a pitcher, he never lost a single game at the university. Big bouncer to LaRoche. And again, the Pirates dodge a bullet. The Dodgers leave runners at second and third. They just can't buy a hit with a runner in scoring position. And it's still 2-0 Pittsburgh. Lead, which they picked up in the first inning. Clayton Kershaw's pitch count 109 when he went 4 2/3 against Pittsburgh first time out, and then as you can see 110, 114, 109. But the only time he pitched more than 6 innings, he went 7 against the Giants, and that was that tremendous game. Dodgers won 2-1. One other thing, Clayton Kershaw has not gotten any run support at all. It's 2-0 Pittsburgh, but very frustrating. Towering foul ball, but that's out of play. How about this? The Dodgers, with runners in scoring position, are not only 0 for 8, they have not hit the ball out of the infield with runners in scoring position, and 5 of the outs involved Andy LaRoche at third base. And that's going to be a little flare over the shoulder catch for DeWitt going away. So Bobby Crosby losing a hit. Nice play by Blake DeWitt. 1 away. Remember, the pitcher bats 8th. So Jack Cashner is there with Ronnie Cedeno hitting 9. Ball 1. One and 1. Cashner, among other things, had a Tommy John procedure a few years ago, so that slowed up his career. Two and 2. Kershaw is due to bat second when the Dodgers come up in the 7th inning. 115 pitches, so that would be his high. Now 116. First inning hurt him. The wind was blowing. He made 32 pitches. And now he walks Tashner. Five walks, so Rick Honeycutt's on the phone. Joe Torre, anxious, waiting, coming up with a hook. And Ramon Troncoso, who pitches every day, well, it just seems that way. But Troncoso will be riding in to bail him out. Give you an idea, Troncoso will be in his 15th game, 15 of the Dodger 22, and we'll be back. Include Clayton Kershaw's performance. He had good stuff. He struck out 7, but he walked 5. In fact, coming into the game, that was pretty much his story. He has now walked 23, and he has struck out 33. So it's a battle for Clayton finding that strike zone. Gives up only 2 runs. But the Dodgers didn't give him any help offensively at all. And here's Ronnie Cedeno facing Troncoso, and that's a strike. Ramon Troncoso in his 15th game. 15 of 22 games. Oh, and 2. If you didn't know what country Ronnie Cedeno came from, but if you were a very, very good baseball fan, you would guess Venezuela for one reason: his number. His number is 13, and of course, to a Venezuela baseball man, that means Davy Concepcion. So down he goes, hitting 9th. He's 0 for 3. Concepcion, by the way, was a good hitter besides being a brilliant shortstop. So Troncoso takes care of Cedeno. And now the batter is Lastings Millage. Millage, among other things, is in the bottom 5% of pitches per plate appearance, believe it or not. He averages just a little more than 3 pitches per plate appearance. So he is a restless leadoff man. And you would think if he's going to be a leadoff man, he should average more than 3 pitches in that bat. One ball and no strikes. There you go. Right after number 2. 1 ball and 1 strike. And it's certainly not helping his average. I mean, it's one thing if you're saying yes, but he's a very aggressive hitter, etc., etc. He's hitting .222. One reason why he was with so many teams last year. Last year, he was with the Nationals and the Pirates. He was in the Gulf Coast League. He was in the Carolina League. He played in the International League with Syracuse, and he played in the International League with Indianapolis. All right, this is his fourth pitch. And ball 3-1. On deck, best hitter in the lineup, Andy LaRoche. So with 2 out, this is a big count, 3-1 to Millage. Ground ball, base hit up the middle. So Millage was only walked 5 times this year, but it had that favorable 3-1 count. That's the count that the hitters love. They average a .286 batting average on a 3-1 count. So now here's Andy LaRoche. That is the wrong way to pitch to the Pirates. LaRoche has walked, struck out, and except for the wind, would have hit a home run in the 5th inning. He hit one to deepest left center, but it went right into the teeth of the gale, and Kemp caught it at the wall. Andy with 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in, hitting .365, a fine hitter. And a fly ball. This one's very playable to Kemp, and that's that. So no runs, 1 hit, 2 left, and at the end a 6.5, 2-0 Pirates. And the crowd will now be asked to join in singing God Bless America, and then take me out to the ball game.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join us in God Bless America. Please welcome back to the field USC vocalist Danielle Skalski.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet
From USC, Danielle Skalski. Now, fans, it's time for the California Lottery 7th inning stretch. Be sure to play Mega Millions with the California Lottery. Sitting at the bottom of the seventh for the Dodgers, second baseman, number 33.
Okay.
DeWitt.
Pirates leading the Dodgers 2-0 as we go to the seventh inning. And Blake DeWitt, who was scalded by a line drive off the bat of Russell Martin in the third inning, got away cheaply enough with a shot off the hip, and Blake stayed in. Came up in the fifth inning and doubled, and now will lead off the seventh. Dodgers have Ronnie Belliard coming out on deck, and Belliard will be hitting for Troncoso. The Ronnie, who no doubt, and Kerwin Danley now coming over to talk to someone in security. I'm not sure if there's somebody behind home plate doing something. Can't tell. Third base umpire Dana DeMuth comes down. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it might be bothering the Pirate pitcher, Jack Tashner. It certainly bothered Kerwin Danley. All right. The DeWitt, followed by Belliard, and then Martin. And a strike. DeWitt is 2 for 2. Single to right, double to right. And they give him straightaway right. They kind of pinch the middle. And McCutchen is somewhat shallow in center. Because you don't expect very many balls to be hit to send the outfielders to the warning track, except in right field. There's the prevailing wind, and it's a wind all night, blowing that way, left to right. There were gusts at 38 miles an hour. And when the Dodgers played the doubleheader in New York, they said the wind chill factor was 35 degrees with a steady wind. It was blowing so hard earlier that the foul poles were swaying. I'd never seen that before here either. Two and two. Slider down and dirty. Jack Tashner in relief of the starter, Ryan Burris, who shut the Dodgers down. Dodgers 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Fastball golfed out and missed, so they get DeWitt for the first time. Now Belliard has been called back, and Reed Johnson is going to come up and bat for Troncoso. So Johnson off the bench. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Hung-Chi Kuo begins to loosen up. Pirates 2 runs, 4 hits. Dodgers no runs, 4 hits. And Reed Johnson trying to get something started. One ball and no strikes. Reed hit .313 on the road trip, and he has a very good career batting average against left-hand pitching. He's a .314 hitter against left-handers. One and one. Another thing about Johnson, he doesn't give much up at home plate. He's been hit by the pitch 98 times. That is 5th in the big leagues among active players over the same period of time. Little bouncer. Oh, nice play by Tashner, who's 6'3". 2 out in the 7th inning, and Russell Martin coming up. Cashman need all the height, and he used it perfectly. Russell Martin coming up 0 for 3. Martin has grounded out twice and struck out. Dodgers, in case you're wondering, have been shut out 3 times this year. Ground ball. There's LaRoche. That's the 3rd time in 4 at-bats that Martin has hit the ball to Andy. So the Dodgers go quietly, and at the end of 7, it's still 2-0 Pittsburgh. They scored the 2 runs in the 1st inning. Lasting's Millage walk, Andy LaRoche walk, and with 2 out, Ryan Doumit hit a single that went under the backhanded effort of Matt Kemp to the wall. Both Millage and LaRoche scored. Doumit wound up with a gift triple, and those 2 runs are still out there on the board all alone. Hung-Chi Kuo will now come out of the Dodger bullpen and pick up for Ramon Troncoso, who made 10 pitches to retire the portion of the side in the 7th inning. So Kuo will be facing McCutchen, Jones, and Doumit. 2-0 Pittsburgh. For Hung-Chi Kuo, of course, every time he pitches, the Dodgers collectively hold their breath, hoping that he's okay. He's had arm trouble. He's had a history of arm trouble, 4 surgeries, and he made his debut a week after being activated from the DL Thursday. He allowed 2 runs and took the loss. Because of elbow problems, he only had 2 innings in spring training. So Hung-Chi Kuo, on a cold, windy night, takes it to the mound, and he'll face Andrew McCutchen, Garrett Jones, and Ryan Doumit. McCutchen struck out, grounded to short, and grounded to third. Puts pressure on the infield. He has 5 infield hits. Check swing foul. McCutchen caught looking at strike 3 enough times to be 9th in the league in that unenviable department, and sure enough struck out in the 1st inning. Little ground ball. Casey Blake has to hurry, and got him. 1 away. So 1 out in the 8th. That'll bring up Garrett Jones.
Number 46. Garrett Jones.
Jones struck out, popped up, and singled to center. When the Dodgers bat in the bottom of the 8th, they'll have Garrett Anderson, Matt Kemp, and Andre Ethier. Strike. 0-1. And a strike. 0-2. We have the paid attendance tonight. Turns out to be 40,185, and I think that translates into tickets sold. Might have less than that. What my mother would call a raw night. Wind has died down considerably. 1-2 to Garrett Jones. Ground ball to Blake DeWitt. Two out in the 8th inning, and Ryan Domit coming up with a triple and a single. Domit is now hit in 9 straight. Interesting how he has played. In his first 11 games, Ryan hit 200. In the last 8 games, he was hitting .423, and he's 2 for 3 tonight. So in his last 9 games, he's 13 for 29. He's red hot. Last year, because of injury, Ryan Domit missed a couple of months. So they have him now, and he's playing very well. The problems for Clayton Kershaw continue. You know, when you think about it, since August 1 of last year at Dodger Stadium, he has limited the opposition to a 184 batting average, an earned run average of 2, and should he lose tonight, he'll be 1-3 with all those great numbers. Well, Quo comes in, a 1-2-3 inning, and they're heading to the bottom of the 8th. It'll be Anderson, Kemp, and Ethier. 2-0 Pittsburgh. Bottom of the 8th inning, 2-0 in favor of the Pirates. 2 runs, 4 hits. The Dodgers have certainly had ample opportunity. They are 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. So against Jack Tashner, it'll be Garrett Anderson, Matt Kemp, and Andre Ethier. So we've had 5 pitchers in the game, 4 of them left-handed, with Troncoso the only right-hander. And here comes Jack Tashner. Ball 1. Anderson struck out, grounded out, fouled out, 0 for 3. High fly ball up into that tricky breeze. It will be Garrett Jones and the second baseman Crosby who makes the play. So Anderson, a pop fly, 1 away. Tashner has now retired 6 in a row, and that'll bring up Matt Kemp. Kemp struck out, single to right, and lost a base hit on a leaping catch by Ronnie Cedeno, who went up the ladder in the 6th inning to one-hand his line drive. And ball 1. In looking at the past, you check Jack Tashner going against Matt Kemp. Kemp is 0 for 6 with 3 strikeouts against him. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Jonathan Broxton warming up. One and 2. Fastball in on the hands. Still 1 and 2. Matt got that on his foot, I think, a little bit. He's had 2 swings tonight. That one was the foul ball. He had one earlier when he struck out in the 1st inning where he was really tied up. That one got him on the instep. Right there. He's not ready yet. You can't imagine how heavy an object 5.25 ounces feels when it's been thrown about 90 miles an hour. Two and 2. Tashner wanted that. A straight change, trying to hit the outside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now he worked inside. So 3 and 2. Dodgers had 1st and 3rd in the 3rd inning. They had the bases loaded in the 4th. They had 1st and 2nd and 1 out in the 6th, and they're still looking for a run. Ground ball right to Cedeno. You don't see a shortstop go to his knee on a routine ground ball very often, but that's what Cedeno just did. A reminder, you can stay warm on cool nights at the stadium with a This Is My Town fleece blanket. compliments of Time Warner Cable. Tuesday, the first 50,000 fans in attendance receive their blanket as the Dodgers begin the series with the Brewers. So for tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. 2 down, 8th inning, and here's Andre Ethier. Ethier grounded out, doubled, and walked. 1 ball and no strikes to Andre. He's had success against Tashner. Kemp is 0 for 7 against him now. 1 ball, no strikes. Big curveball for a strike. 1-1. Jack has retired 7 in a row in relief of Brian Burris. Another breaking ball. Though it's 1-2. So after a couple of breaking balls back to back, fastball up around the chin, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. And that will be that. So that's 8 in a row retired by Jack Tashner. He's done a tremendous job. And at the end of 8, 2-0 Pittsburgh. Into this game tonight, and they've been stopped dead in the water for 5 1/3 innings by Brian Burris, and now the last 8 in a row retired by left-hander Jack Tashner. So we go to the 9th inning, and Jonathan Broxton will come in, and he'll pitch to Jeff Clement, Bobby Crosby, and then Tashner's spot.
Number 51,
The Big John, with an ERA of nothing but smoke rings, going to work. 1 walk and 11 strikeouts. And Clement grounded to short twice and struck out, 0 for 3, hitting .197. Oh and 1. So Clayton Kershaw allowed 2 runs in the first inning, gave up 3 hits, struck out 7, and is on the short end of a 2-0 score. 1-1. Ground ball up the middle. Behind the bag is Jamie Carroll to get him. And we have one out, top of the ninth inning. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the ninth, they are due to send up Casey Blake, James Loney, and Jamie Carroll. So one away. Here's Bobby Crosby, flied to left, walked intentionally, and popped up. DeWitt made a good running catch into right field. Former Dodger property Delwyn Young is out on deck to bat for Tashner. If you just joined us recently, John Russell has his pitcher batting 8th tonight. Pop foul off to the right, well out of play. It is not a good name for a closer. It is certainly not a good name to be brought in to protect a 2-0 lead. But a Rose by any other name would smell as sweet. And down in the bullpen, getting ready to come in, Evan Meek. But then again, the meek shall inherit the world, or the earth, or the mound. 0-2. Bobby 0 for 2, hitting .240. Bobby Crosby has had a career with the A's the last 7 years. Bobby's out of Lakewood and lives in Cyprus. Played ball and went to school at Long Beach State. His dad was an infielder for the Reds of Cincinnati in 1973. Hard ground ball smothered by Carroll. Sidearm offline at first. And for Bobby Crosby, a base hit. So Jamie Carroll scrambles for it. And now Delwyn Young will be coming up. Delwyn Young, born in Los Angeles, lives in Palmdale.
Delwyn Young.
Delwyn went to school at Santa Barbara City College. 5'10", checks in at about 210. His grandfather put a nickname on him of Pee-wee. Well, apparently the family calls him that. And a strike. 0-1. We're talking about the Dodgers being 0 for 8 with men in scoring position tonight. Pirates have had that trouble all year, or all month. They've had 4 regulars, Domet, Cedeno, Clement, and McCutcheon, who are hitting less than .230 with runners in scoring position. Delwyn played with the Dodgers in 06, 07, and 08. So Broxton takes care of him as Young strikes out. 2 down. And now Ronnie Cedeno coming up. So Broxton didn't monkey around, just that high hard one, and that was that. Ronnie Cedeno just 0 for 2 against Broxton. Fouled away. 0-1. To repeat, the Dodgers in the 9th inning, Casey Blake, James Loney, and Jamie Carroll. And of course, those on the bench as well. The Dodgers have Belliard. We had a glimpse of him. They have Xavier Paul, and the backup catcher, who's always the last to be used, A.J. Ellis. 0-1. 0-2. Those fastballs are coming up there at 96. The Cedeno having a lot of trouble trying to catch up with them. He joins a long list of hitters. Rafael Furcal and Ronnie Belliard having a conversation. Belliard will be in the game perhaps as a hitter if given the chance. 0-2. Remember, we saw Belliard to bat for Troncoso, and then Reed Johnson hit when they changed pitchers. Well, Belliard talking to Rafael Furcal, and we'll see if he gets in. 0-2. There goes the runner, and a fly ball. Matt Kemp. So Cedeno a fly ball, no runs, 1 hit, a man left, and we're heading to the bottom of the 9th, 2-0 Pittsburgh. First inning, and little did we know they would be the only runs in the game until we come to the bottom of the 9th inning. Pirates have used Burris, Tashner, and now Evan Meek out of Bellevue, Washington. Went to Bellevue Community College. He was originally drafted by the Twins, but his control was very shaky, so he kicked around a little bit and finally picked up by the Pirates. Fastball, slider, and a splitter, along with a changeup they say is a work in progress. Last year, left-handers hit .250 against him. Right-handers hit .176. And a strike to Casey Blake. Casey Blake flied to center, struck out and walked. The strikeout was a killer. There was second and third, 1 out when he went down swinging. Oh, and 2. Though I'm sure the Pirate sports writers will have fun with that last name Meek. Odd name for a closer. He's been in 10 games, and there's nothing meek about him. His earned run average is less than 1. It's .6. Popped up, right side, and it'll be Bobby Crosby. So Casey pops her up, 1 out in the 9th inning. And looking back, the Dodgers had first and third, 1 out in the 3rd. They had second and third, and the bases loaded with 2 out. Second and third with 1 out. Then they had second and third with 2 out in the 6th inning. So the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, 4 innings, the Dodgers had big opportunities, and they went 0 for 8 with the runners in scoring position. So here's Loney, grounded to short, walk, grounded to third. And a strike. Let's see what Meek has done besides that .6 earned run average. He has struck out 14 and walked 4. 1-1. Now Ronnie Belliard makes his second appearance in the on-deck circle. Ronnie was on deck to hit for Troncoso. When they changed pitchers, Reed Johnson came in. That's a strike. Meek, by the way, working on a save here. In his 10 previous games, does not have a save. He has 6 career saves, but all of those came in the minor leagues. Fouled away. He's throwing hard enough, 93. Dodgers furnishing pretty much of a glum picture right now. Change, 2-2. Casey Blake, I'm sure thinking of that one big at bat he had when he struck out in the 4th inning. Fastball up the middle, Cedeno, and the Dodgers now are down to their last out, and they have really gone quietly. Talk about taking and walking the plank. 3, 6, 8, 10 in a row have been retired. The last Dodger to get aboard was Casey Blake, who walked way back in the 6th inning. So here is Belliard. Of course, Belliard spends some time with the Pirates, and he'll now bat for Broxton. Excuse me, for Carroll. Pardon me. And a strike. And foul ball, 0-2. Evan Meek, M-E-E-K, out of the state of Washington. 0-2 to Ronnie Belliard. 2 out, 9th inning. Foul ball. I had mentioned, and there's a fan on the field, so timeout for the moment. We had mentioned that Belliard played briefly for the Pirates, but that's a mistake. He played with the Milwaukee Brewers, the Rockies, the Indians, the Cardinals, and the Nationals. Ronnie, born in the Bronx, lives in Miami, Florida. Went to Central High School in Miami. Whatever possessed that poor soul to run out on the field is now being taken off the field. We're certainly not going to show him you. So we'll wait a minute. 0-2 the count to Belliard. 2 out, 9th inning, 2-0 Pirates. Tomorrow night, Charlie Morton and Chad Billingsley. Saturday, Zach Duke and Carlos Monasterios. Sunday, Jeff Karstens and Hiroki Kuroda. And the Dodgers then will say goodbye to Pittsburgh for the year. All right, order has been restored. 0-2 the count to Ronnie Belliard. Two runs, 5 hits for the Pirates. No runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. And they go down without a whimper. 11 in a row to end the game. And for Evan Meek, his first save in the major leagues. And for the Dodgers, their 5th consecutive loss. And for the Pirates, their 3rd consecutive win. A reminder, stay tuned for Dodgers Live. It'll be coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow night. Until then, a very pleasant